Hi everybody, Dr. Pingle here with a quick guide for how to tackle the revisions for your first map assignment. So this is a cartography worksheet that I prepared based on some of my experience as a map reviewer and teaching this course. One of the things that I find when people make their maps is that they're not always thinking about every choice that they make while they're developing the symbology. So a lot of things are sort of developed maybe a little bit unthinkingly, sort of rendered or colored or stylized in the way that they come into ARC just kind of by default. And you really need to think very carefully about how everything is represented to make it as easy on your map reader as possible. So this is a worksheet that I developed to help you think about those things. So the first question is, what projection did you choose for your map? What were some alternatives? And why did you choose this one? I'm not looking for a book here, but what I do want you to do is sort of think about why you chose the projection that you did, and maybe some ideas about what else you could have chosen. So if you're making a map of North America, maybe you chose the Lambert conformal conic, but what was a good alternative? Maybe you could have used another, like an Albers conic projection or something like that that would have worked nearly as well. So I just want you to demonstrate that you've sort of thought through the projection issue and made a decision that best suits your map. To explain the theme of your map, what story are you trying to tell, what information are you trying to convey. Here I'm really just looking for you to tell me that you've thought about what people are getting out of the map. So when you show your map to someone, and that's a really good way to tell whether it's working or not, or whether it's effective, show it to a friend, show it to a roommate, and ask them to tell you what they see, and ask them questions about the map. And if they can tell you what they see and it's clear and it matches what you wanted them to see, then you know you've done a good job. So so thinking about what that theme is, that story, sometimes it's going to be clear and sometimes maybe a little less clear, but the more targeted and the more clear you can make that story, the better off it's going to be. What symbolization did you choose for your theme? What were some alternatives? Why did you choose this one? So this is an important one, maybe the most important one. Think about things like, did you make a choropleth map or did you make a graduated circle map? If you made a choropleth map, did you normalize to area? If you chose a color scheme, did you choose a diverging color scheme or a sequential color scheme? And why? So all of that kind of stuff is really important to consider. What base map or supporting layers did you use? So very rarely will a symbolization layer stand on its own. You might need state boundaries. You might grab a base map from one of those on ArcGIS Online. You might show some major rivers or major highways. What's not really a part of the theme that sort of helps your map reader orient themselves? What symbolization did you use for the base map layers? How did you adjust the symbolization to make sure that your thematic symbols are more salient? So the story that you're trying to tell, the symbolization is the key. The base maps are really just there to support. So think about the slide in the initial unit about sort of maps of schools in Lawrence, Kansas. That's a really nice way of sort of illustrating the point about how toned down your base map layers should be. What metadata, title, author, data source, projection are present? You want to make sure, how did you adjust the size and placement of these elements to respect visual hierarchy? Remember that visual hierarchy means that the things that are in the center or at the top are the most important. So usually your title and your main map are going to be at the center. And all of this other stuff, whether it's projection information or data sources, those can all be sort of tucked away somewhere else. Authors can be somewhere, can be either placed those can be kind of prominently showed or they can be kind of tucked away. It depends on what you're trying to do. Most of the time they're kind of tucked away. Do you feel like the map is visually balanced? Do you have any large sections of white space? And do any elements seem crowded, clearly misspelling here, together? What you want to do here is really just kind of look at the map from 5 feet away, 10 feet away, and just look at the overall impression of the map. Does it seem like, does it really seem bunched up anywhere? Are there big holes? And see if you can kind of cleverly rearrange the elements like the legend or the title or the zoom level to make sure that that looks as good and as balanced and as nice as it can. And then finally, does your legend have any unnecessary precision? Do the numbers have commas if applicable? Do the numbers are the numbers rounded if practical? So one of my pet peeves with legends are that they'll sort of, by default, when they come in an arc, they often look pretty ugly. So if you've got numbers that are in the thousands or millions, make sure you've got a comma separator. It's really easy to do. And make sure that those numbers are rounded if practical. So if you're making a map of population density, you don't need to say, you don't want your break lines at your categories to be 47.9249876 people per square mile. You want to chop those or limit those numbers after the decimal as much as is practical. So not only do I expect the revisions, but if you submit those revisions, submit this cartography worksheet along with it. I'm looking forward to seeing that, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks.